Welcome back to AfriLearn Music Academy, where we teach you everything that we know beyond the surface level of knowledge. You don't know what you claim you know if you cannot apply what you know practically in your life. So, today we'll be discussing reading in music. What does it mean? And what constitutes reading? How does reading look like? And this deeper aspect of discussion is aimed towards making you have full authority and ownership of what you call reading in music. In the previous video, we had earlier discussed that there are different elements of music, and one of those elements is reading. So, what is reading? Reading in music is that pattern of long and short sound and silences that are played over a steady beat. Now, it tells you or tells us when to clap, when to sing, when to play, when to rest as the music keeps moving forward. Now, different notes and rests are arranged to create different reading pattern. So by the time you look at the rhythm structure, you will tell that yes, this is the maintained rhythm that suggests this song has so motif or whatever. The flows in time will be defined and clearly understood. Now, just as words are arranged to make sentences, notes are also arranged to make reading. So meaning one of the greatest elements of reading that cannot be avoided, of course, is the notes. Reading makes music interesting, easy to follow, and enjoyable to listen, so that when performers are there carrying their thing, you can flow along. Remember, reading flows in time. In the course of this my discussion, you would have noticed that I have hit some components or elements that constitute reading. What do we mean by those components? Components of reading are the different parts that work together to create reading in music. They help us to know when exactly to play, how long to hold the notes, and when to keep silent, or how to count the music correctly. Some of the main elements of reading, they include the beats, the time signature, the note values, rest, tempo, meter, accent, rhythmic patterns. Now, all of these come together to constitute the exact thing we describe as reading. Now, when all these elements work together, they do not only create reading clearly, they also have steady and interesting pattern that makes music easy to play and enjoyable. As we are going to discuss further, we'll be picking each of the different components to discuss. First of all is the note and rest working together, because each musical note symbols have its own corresponding rest pattern. Now, I won't be discussing notes from the angle of solfa notation. I am discussing notes from the angle of staff notation, so that later when we do transcription of the staff, you'll be able to relate more as how it should look when you now bring it in the solfa. But the original version of notes we'll be discussing here is on staff. First, you need to know that musical notes are special symbols that musicians use to show how long a sound should last in music. Each note has its own shape, and each shape tells us whether to hold the sound for a longer time or a shorter time. Now, these notes symbols help musicians also to read, to clap, and play or sing rhythms correctly. Think of musical notes as the written language of reading. Remember, we say notes are what are put together to form the pattern. Just as letters help us to read words, musical notes help us to read and perform rhythm of a song. There are several notes that are used in music, but we will limit ourselves to the most common. The most common notes that will be used in our discussion, and you will see in most scores, are the whole notes, which is called the semi-brief, the half note, which is called meaning, the quarter note, which is called crotchet, the 80th note, which is called quaver, and the 16th note, which is called semi-quaver. I won't go to the 32nd note, semi-demi-quaver, and then the 64th note, hemi-demi-semi-quaver. We will not talk about those notes because they do not fall within the confine of what we easily see. Accent is another important element of the rhythm that you should know. Accent in music is when a note or a beat is played or sung loudly or stronger or with more emphasis than the other notes surrounding it. It helps to make certain notes stand out and give the note more musical feeling, energy and expression than every other note around it. For example, if we take an instance of having 4 beat clap in a set of bar, 4 claps, you will notice that the arranger can decide to lay emphasis on the first beat, when you now use the first clap on the strong sound and the other 3 will now sound a little lighter, like saying 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. You see that 1 is emphasized. Why? Because that is where the emphasis is lodged to be. The first clap is accented. That is what it means, because it is stronger. Accent makes music more interesting and helps listener feel the rhythm more correctly. The next component we'll be looking at is called the beat. What is a beat? A beat is the steady pulse of music that you can clap, you can tap, or march to. It is the heartbeat of a song because it makes the music moving itself at a steady pace. You know, it keeps the music on a steady pace movement. Rhythm is created by playing different patterns of notes and rest on top the beats. So while the beat is stable, you can now manipulate the arrangement of the note patterns in order to achieve the kind of rhythm feel you are looking out for. However, the time signature should not be mistaken for the beat. Why? Because the time signature differentiates itself in just representing the structure of beats per measure and the type of notes that actually describe that. We'll discuss that next in the continuing slide. Now, the time signature and the beat actually work together, but they are not the same. The beat is steady pulse for you to feel. The time signature tells you how many beats are in each measure and which notes get 1 beat. For instance, where you have 4/4 time, it means there are 4 beats in each measure, and the quarter note, which is the crotchet, gets 1 beat count. This helps the musician count the beats correctly and perform the rhythm together. Meter is another essential part of the music you would want to know when discussing rhythm. What is meter? Meter is the way beats are grouped into equal pattern. Another word for meter would be measure. As the name implies, when you meter something, you have measured it. It helps us organize the rhythm so easy to count and follow. For example, when songs have 2 beats or 3 beats or 4 beats in each measure, these repeating groups of beats create the meter of the music, while the rhythm itself is the pattern of the long and short sound that is arranged. Meter is the regular pattern that keeps the rhythm organized. Meter helps musicians clap, play, and sing together at the right timing. Now, do not also mistake meter for beats. Like I said, every of these terminologies are intertwined together to get the right information we are looking out for. We will do more practical examples and you get along as we flow. Now, what is time signature as an essential component of reading? A time signature, as earlier noted, is a set of two numbers that is written at the beginning of a piece of music. It tells us how many beats are in each measure and which note gets one beat count. So the number on the top is the number of beats and the number at the bottom is the type of note that carries what beat count. For example, in a 4/4 timing, as earlier noted, there are 4 beats in each measure, that is the number up, and the quarter note gets 1 beat count, that is the number under. Like we have earlier noted in the previous video of melody, when we mentioned time signature, we also noted that the number under, which represent the type of note, is associated with the note symbols. For instance, the quarter note is associated with number 4, as the name implies, quarter by American naming. Half note, which is meaning, is associated with the number 2. Whole note, which is semi-brief, is associated with the number 1. But then the quaver note, which is 80th note, 1/8, is associated with 8. The 16th note, which is semi-quaver, is associated with 16, and I said it's not common because rarely will you see a time signature written in 16th, but it is common to have the 2, the 4, and the 8. Very, very common. Very, very common. So the time signature keeps the reading even more organized along with the meter structure and arrangement of reading in the measures. The notes value are also needed to be understood in relations to another. So this is but a quick example, and in the going days before the expiration of this entire class, we'll be discussing different examples that connect our notes and their relationship with others. For instance, the meaning notes is occupying the space of 2 crotchets. So where we have 2 meaning notes in a 4/4 timing, it means we'll have 4 crotchets. But where we have 2 meaning notes or 4 crotchets in a 4/4 timing, it would amount to 8 quaver notes. Correspondingly, if we decide to break it down to semi-quaver, it will give us 16 semi-quaver to 2 meaning notes. This is just but the mathematics you need to sit down and try to understand, so that once we begin to do practical application, you can follow along even easily. Now, these are some little examples we have here for you to practice reading, and we'll keep doing more of the examples of reading. The theory is not our emphasis, it is a practical. Now you see, in this song, starting with the analysis, there are 4 beat counts each bar, and the note we are using to count is the crotchet note. So, keeping everything parallel at crotchet, we were emphasizing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice that 1 has a very strong accent, 2 has a weak accent, 3 has a little weak strong accent. It is strong but not very strong. Then the 4th has a weak accent. So in this steady count of 1, 2, 3, 4, we can say that beat number 2 and number 4, they are the weak beats at same level. But beat number 1 is the strongest, and the next strong beat you will find that is not very strong is the beat number 3. That established, if we are to clap, it will be clap, 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 like that. Now, when you now convert this same beats of 4/4 in an arrangement for a minim note, even though we are counting in crochet, it means one minim will take position of 2 crochet. So it will now be clap, 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 clap. So meaning we are omitting the 3 and the 2 and the 4. That is how the arrangement will go in this example. In this other example, where we have the first 4 bars, we'll be having something as counting the rhythm while the pause is maintained. So we have 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 3, 4, 1. You notice I did not count the 2 in the third bar, and I also did not count the 2, 3, 4 in the last bar. It suggests that I am sustaining my beat. Now let us go to the second line down. We have something as 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, and like that we are done with this. So more examples will be given in the course of the class, but for now let's see how you follow with this while we hope to continue our discussion in the next video.